So we are finally in the long-awaited eclipse season of 2026, and I am calling this season the Fire Audit because between the Sun and Jupiter both being in the sign of Leo, the South Node, and this new moon eclipse that we have coming up, both also transiting the sign of Leo, and Saturn stationing retrograde in Aries while Neptune is currently retrograde in Aries. Things are hitting up fast and we're being asked to explore themes like identity, self-expression, purpose, leadership, and authenticity. I'm so excited. The collective is beginning the shift from performance to becoming. Now, I know that's a lot of information, so let's go ahead and break that down. Now, a couple of days ago on the 26th, we had Saturn, which is the planet of karma, time, order, structure, long-term commitment, discipline, accountability, responsibility, authority, systems. The ruler of all of these masculine properties that help us bring our ideas down into the physical is retrograde in the sign of Aries. Now, retrogrades are periods of reflection. Since Aries represents actions, identity, initiation, courage, leadership, independence, impulses, and self-direction, we're reviewing the physical actions that we took while Saturn was direct. And now remember, Saturn moved into Aries February 13th of this year. So what have you built? What actions have you been taking around your identity in those areas that I just expressed since February of this year? So it's time to revisit those unfinished responsibilities. It's time to complete those things that you didn't start, because you know Aries like to move fast and they move on, but Saturn's like turn around and go ahead, finish that thing off before we move to the next one. A couple of other things that may be highlighted at this time are owning our actions and actually taking a look at what we've done and seeing if those actions really align with the intentions that we've set out for our lives, or the Aries part of your life anyways. So this Saturn's retrograde is a reflection point on the karma that you have incurred through the physical actions that you have done, taken or not taken, since February 13th of this year. Remember, we live in a universe that is governed by cause and effect. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Remember, we live in a magnetic universe, so what you put out there, you get back. So don't necessarily look at this as a bad thing. If you have been sowing good seeds and you've been disciplined and responsible and taking care of yourself, you're going to get those rewards. But if you haven't, Saturn's going to hold a mirror up to you to show yourself. Another important point is that Saturn is actually in fall in the sign of Aries. So the impact of those consequences may hit a little bit harder, especially if you have predominant Aries placements in your chart. But either way, fire energy is about being refined. It's about the purification process that happens when something is forged in fire. And currently that something that's being forged is you, your identity, your integrity, your confidence to move. And not just move because other people want you to move, because it's authentically what you feel aligned to do. See, another thing I've noticed about these energetic shifts, now that the South Node is in Leo, the performative nature of the collective has decreased tremendously. People generally don't even have the capacity to perform anymore. For a lot of people, the masks have become too heavy to maintain, and now authenticity is the only thing that they can preserve. The persona is gone. And that's because now that the North Node has shifted into the sign of Aquarius, the themes are authentic self-expression, because once you can authentically identify yourself and express yourself, then you can find your authentic community. And then those become safe spaces to collaborate and innovate and build. And that's how we create the framework for the new world that we actually belong living in. So right now, finding your people is so important. If you don't know where your people are, then it's time to check in with yourself and see if you know who you really are. And if you don't, the North Node in Aquarius is going to shine a light on that. And Saturn's retrograde in Aries is going to point you in another direction that's actually more in alignment. Because this is all happening in eclipse season, I know this can feel like a tornado of change for a lot of people. So if these shifts have been affecting you personally and you don't really know what's going on, remember, everyone's natal chart is different. So these transits will affect everyone differently. But if you do need some help figuring out what's going on, I would recommend getting on my calendar for the eclipse season mini sessions I have available right now, only for the month of August. Remember, a lot of these transits are actually going to be in place till the end of the year. So if you need some help strategically planning on how to shift through this energy based on your specific energetic blueprint, then go ahead and get on my calendar. You can do so by either commenting the word eclipse and I'll send you the link, or go ahead, check it out in my bio. Either way, I'll talk to y'all soon.